Hi, this is Rachelle Scrapcraftastic, and I had a little idea. I saw a project that I want to work on, but they were using craft file folders, and I considered ordering some, and then I was like, well, maybe I could just make my own. I know that the 8.5 by 11 paper is slightly smaller than a file folder, but it's not that much smaller. So I'm going to try and make my own file folder using this folder as a guide. It's all bent up and folded because I was planning on using it for something else a while ago. So I'm just going to hand cut the tab and everything, and let's see how this works, because I want it to look exactly like a file folder. But let's get into it real quick. Hi, this is Editing Me, and I just wanted to pop in and say that I'm using 8.5 by 11, 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11 craft paper because that's what I had on hand. You can use 12 by 12, and if you do, then you can make your folder exactly the same size as the original file folder. Back to the video. So what I'm going to do, I want to make this side of the folder a little shorter, just like it is here. So I'm seeing how much shorter it is, and it looks like it is about 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so let's score at 5/8 of an inch, and you can do this with any color cardstock you want, which is cool because you might want different color bases for different projects. So I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish. So this piece is going to act as the front of the folder. So it can go like this, or I could put the flap over the outside, but I think I'm going to put it in the inside to make it look more like a file folder. So it's going to go in here like this, like that. So we've got our 5/8 of an inch up here. So what I'm going to do next is on each side of this, I am going to draw. Now you can do this with your envelope punch, and I'll probably make one with the envelope punch to show how to do it, because you can even do this in any size you want. But if you're doing it this way, as long as you have a guide like this, a file folder that you can use as a guide, you shouldn't have a problem. So I'm going to line this up and take my pencil and draw where I need to cut. Let's get some lead going here. There we go. Now, as you can see, the edge is a little longer than the cardstock, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw this little dip, and then I'm going to move this over and line it up with the line that I drew and the edge of the paper. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw the little, I don't know what that's called, the little indentation on the corner. So let's take the scissors and cut that out. Just take your time. Even the file folders aren't cut perfectly, if you've ever noticed. Sometimes they're a little wonky, and these scissors are huge for this type of work. But I really like these scissors. And I'm just going to go all the way out. The problem with big scissors like that is they will bend your paper. But Okay, so we got one side of a file folder. And yes, I don't know, these are this is from the Dollar Tree. So these file folders, I don't think are much heavier, if at all heavier than this craft cardstock. Now, I've mentioned this before, the craft colored cardstock always seems to be, well, let me rephrase that. The craft colored cardstock that I purchased from Michaels seems to be heavier than the other cardstock, the other colors. I don't know if that's the case. It just seems that way to me. Okay, so this is the front of the folder. Now we're going to cut the back side that's a little taller. So I'm going to trace that out with the tab. So again, I'm just going to, even though the folder is longer, we're going to start on this side and trace out the tab area. And you can do this with any tab orientation. So if you want it on the middle, on the left, on the right, it doesn't matter. You would do the same thing. Then I'm going to draw the line all the way over. Then I'm going to slide this over so that we can get this little indentation in here. Oop. And draw that in. So I think that's all we need. Let's try the smaller scissors. Oh, maybe that's not a good idea, because when I have a long straight line, that's why I like the big scissors. But we'll do the more intricate stuff with these, and I did not cut that good. And this is another reason why using the envelope punch board could be better if you're not a good fussy cutter. So there's that. Now let's see if I can make this look a little bit better. Still a little wonky. Let's leave it alone. And then, oh, I can barely see that. Let's turn it this way so I can see better. The lights glare on the pencil lead. Okay, I think that's as good as I can do it. Okay, let's get rid of the trash. Okay, so when we put our folder together, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, you see? Pretty cool. Of course, I can go back and erase the pencil marks, but let's get some double-sided tape on here. So I'm going to put it close to the folded edge, because this is 1/2 inch, so it's not quite wide enough. It's better to do it this way. So I'm going to put it as close to the edge as I can. Oh, it is? Well, no, we got about a little overhang there. Trim off the tape. Then I'm going to slightly miter this little tab that is going to attach to the other piece of our folder. Burnish this down. I'm going to remove the tape, and I'm also going to add a little Barely Arts glue, especially on the part where there is no tape, to glue that down. And then actually on the tape, if I can get the nozzle to stay on, so that hopefully I'll have so that I can have some time to line this up before it sticks permanently. So let's do this. Okay. I'm always nervous about doing things like this because I always feel like I'm not going to line it up right. So this is how we want this. So I need to be able to see where I'm lining it up at. So I'm going to do it this way. Open that flap up and push it on up a little bit more. To cover the glue. I think that's it. It's hard to get it just perfect, but it's close. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and burnish it. If you have a little overhang, you can trim that off. Just be careful. Yeah, that's not even enough for me to trim. So I did the best that I could. But there it is. That is the folder. So it's a little smaller, like I said, but it's close. Okay, so you just need 2 pieces of cardstock and a little patience. So let's try another one in a different color. And we're going to use the envelope punch board with that one. So let's try another one. You could even use your scrapbook paper to do these. You don't have to just use plain cardstock. You could use your digital papers. Let's try with this mermaid color blue. So I'm going to go ahead, now that I know it's 5/8 inch, before we start using the envelope punch, I'm going to do my scoring at 5/8 of an inch. I'm always grabbing for that, but I do prefer the stylus now. At first I didn't, but, ooh, that's crooked. Hold on. At first I didn't, but the stylus has proved itself. So let's go ahead and fold that. Bring our envelope punch. Now this is a little complicated because I haven't done this. But what I think needs to happen is when I punch here, let me get a scrap piece of paper and punch it and see what happens. So say I have a specific place that I want to punch. So I'm going to fold that in half. I want to punch it right in the middle. Do I line this up with the middle of my punch board? Let's see. Let's see what kind of punch we get. Okay, so yes, I do. That's in the middle. Okay. So first I want to do, this is my short end. So we're going to do this corner here first. I'm going to line the top edge of my cardstock up in the middle of this little turquoisey green thing here to make that shape. So I'm going to put it right in the middle as best as I can, line it up and punch. And so we get that shape. That worked good. So then I want to come across here and mark where I want to punch to get the dip. So I'm going to mark, oops, right at the bottom of the dip, and that should, if I line up right at the bottom of the dip, that should cut out on either side the dip. And you'll see what I mean. So I marked it right at the bottom of this little dip. Okay. So let's see. I'm making my tick mark a little longer because for some reason it doesn't want me to slide it in right where I need to slide it in at. So I made it a little longer, and I'm gonna line that up and punch. Okay. So then we would just cut the rest of this off, and we can either use the folder as a guide to draw the line all the way across, or you can use your ruler. You can use a paper trimmer to trim it off. I think because it's slightly different, I'm going to use the ruler and line it up with the dip on the other edge that we did with this dip. Okay, so that's what I'm using as a guide to line up my ruler, and then I'm just going to draw this line. And you might be saying, it's easier just to buy the color of folders that you want. Yeah, it is. But not everybody has access. And some things I don't even know if they make them in that color. They probably do. But it's good to know how to do it yourself. Okay, so see, I can tell this paper feels less sturdy than this craft paper. I don't know if it's the process that they use to color the paper or what, but there I can tell the difference. Okay, how are we gonna do this? So I'm gonna have to put it this side, and this part's gonna hang over the ruler area, and I'm just gonna line it up in the center of the punch and punch. So now we have the wrong side of the folder. So now we have the folder shape, and it's pretty close. Now we got to do the other side. So let's go ahead and punch the corner, line it up in the middle, and punch. Then we need to measure where we want the tab to be punched at. And it will be here in the dip, where it dips at. So hopefully this will let me slide this in here this time. So I'm just centering where my tick mark is and punching. This is much easier than I thought it was going to be. Let me not speak too soon, because anything could happen. Again, you can use your ruler, your blade, your scissors to trim this off, to measure it, draw a line, however you want to do it. But this long piece here has to come off. So I'm just going to line up the ruler again with the bottom of this dip and the bottom of this dip. And that should give me straight line all the way across. And I draw it with my ruler. Okay, let's see. That's a little wonky. This goes like this goes like this. It's really hard to see these up against each other. Okay, let's do the same thing again, and hopefully I can line it up a little bit better this time. So I'm gonna put tape on the edge. Maybe I shouldn't put it so close to the edge. Maybe that was the problem, because I was scooting it over so that the tape wouldn't show, but then the front of the folder was hanging off, so, or the other side of the folder. Okay, so you can burnish. I like to burnish with the ruler like this, but when it comes to making sure that tape is down, but you can also use your bone folder, either one. So you'll see me do either one. Let's trim this off. A little miter here. Don't need to miter a lot, just a little bit, just so that little flap does not hang out. So this is how we want it to be put together. Let's see if I can do this the right way this time. Fill up the tape and add some glue. Let's do it this way this time. See if I can do a better job of it. Let's make sure I'm putting the pieces together the right way. This is the dip. This is the tab. Oh, I forgot one thing. I forgot to punch this side. Shall I wait until? I think I'll wait until after we put it on here, since I already got the glue going. So let's line it up. Pull this down a little bit. Pull this up a little bit. Pull this down a little bit. It's so hard to get it just right. It's already sticking. Okay. I think we're good. Got a little overhang, but not too much. And maybe if I tried lining it up like this, it would be better. All right, so now we are going to do the little half punch here that I forgot to do. So I'm just gonna put the paper in there, line it up in the center of the little turquoisey thing, and punch. And there we go. Now those aren't exactly the same, but they aren't exactly the same there either. So it's close. All right. There you go. So you got a blue, you got your craft, and again, you can put the tab wherever you want, but these are the two. This one's by hand. This one is using the envelope punch. So I hope you found this video helpful and enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that little gray bell so that you'll receive notification each time I upload a new video. Be sure to check the community tab and my stories for updates throughout the week. Also, check us out over at patreon.com/Scrapcraftastic for exclusive content and digital downloads. You can find me across social media at Scrapcraftastic. Visit my website and shop at Scrapcraftastic.com. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.